Welcome to Workout Master episode 26. This is Ruben.
This is Aram.
And guys, we're going to talk today about being a vegetarian.
Being a vegetarian. Quite the fad throughout our industry.
Exactly. I find a lot of people on... generally, why people do become vegetarian?
Well, I think that most of the time they do it for spiritual reasons, which is totally fine.
The biggest one I've heard is a lot of times girls, even guys, they say, well, I feel bad about it killing an animal.
Yeah, well.
So there looks some kind of like a program about how poorly the animals get treated.
Yeah.
And then they decide not to eat animals at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then the question that I oftentimes ask is people, so then it's not that you have a problem with the meat itself. You have a problem with the way the animal has been raised and treated and how it's been put down. And sometimes they agree, sometimes they don't, which is fine, you know. But vegetarianism, you know, has always been traditionally, you know, undertaken in the sense of saving the life of animals, and by means of that, you know, uplifting your spiritual progress, which I think is fantastic. But it carries over, in most instances, a huge task, which is actually, you know, is your body capable of making nutrients and getting enough nutrition out of the food that you're eating? It has been my experience. I used to be a vegetarian. I was a vegan for 3.5 years, so I know exactly what, to a degree, I can say whatever I please in that regard. Is that oftentimes most vegetarians, they're not really vegetarians. They're something that we call processarians. All they do is eat, you know, non-animal foods, but from a very processed source, which is not a good idea either, because what happens is that the individual finds herself that all the food that they're eating is void of any life force. It has no energy to it, so therefore it can only tax your body when you eat it, because you have to utilize your own resource to be able to digest, assimilate, and eliminate those foods. So they're not really providing anything other than bulk to your stomach to feel, you know, satiated. I think that the main problem that we have with vegetarians is they already come from a source from a group of people. They are highly stressed, and they think that eliminating meat, which in their idea might be difficult to digest, I don't doubt that, is better to make the choice of eating vegetables and fruits and legumes and, you know, etc., grains and seeds, instead of eating animal meat or, you know, animal derived products, butter, milk, cheese, whatever you name. And there's a major problem there in that perspective, is that if your stomach is not already healthy to begin with, it pretty much does not make any difference what you put into it. It's not going to be able to function properly. And that's the main issue that I typically have with those people. So they tell you, so what I do about it then? I said, well, I understand how you have a deep respect for life. But life itself is there to provide other life. Is the all, you know, the Ouroboros, you know, life eats life. That's the serpent eating its tail. You need life to create more life. And the problem there inherently is that, you know, we're not getting enough of the life force to produce even more. So what happens with these people that are typically sick, you know, at the intestinal and the stomach level, is that they're not really assimilating these foods, and all they do is create further dysfunction in their gut. And it wouldn't matter any difference what they eat. So first of all, what they have to do is make the right choice of nutrients and heal their insides before they can actually make a huge impact in the outside.
Which I'm sure we're going to have another episode talking about digestive health. Ruben, I want to say something to our listeners.
Say whatever you want, it's your program.
Hey guys, you know, Ruben and I, we're coaches. And I think what is important from a coach perspective is our job not to take sides, but to provide a good source of information for our clients, for our listeners, or anybody who is interested in the health. So when we talk, let's say, being about vegetarian or being about, you know, talk about meat eaters, we're not taking anybody's side. I'm not pro this. I'm not against anything. I'm for your health.
Yes.
When it comes to your health, it's very important to understand that some people will benefit from vegetarian style of diet, some people will not. Don't make that decision consciously because you don't like something or you like it. Listen to your body. Your body has the answers. I believe that some societies grew up in an environment with a lot of vegetables and fruits and grains around them, so they're more adjusted to consuming them and digesting them. And there's some people come from societies that never had any of that stuff in their diet, so they have a very poorly prepared digestive tract to accommodate and digest all the source that comes from vegetable food.
Yes.
So it is important to start listening to yourself rather than listening some very smart people that don't really listen to themselves but listen to the other people.
Right,
also.
or people that are very emotionally attached to the decisions, disregarding what the body is telling you.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing that people respect other life.
Oh, for real?
And I think it's a beautiful thing when you respect your life also.
As well.
And what you can do with your life counts quite a lot in this life. When it comes to eating a vegetarian food, the biggest concern is all vegetables and fruits and carbohydrates. As you listen to our previous episodes, specifically holistic nutrition, are going to be broken down in simple sugars, which eventually have an ability to create a blood sugar regulation issues, which essentially leads to inflammation and stress response, which has nothing to do with the health. One big thing that I encounter that people that start going on the vegetarian route, they usually get there from really crappy diet. Yeah? So people generally have like a lot of processed food, a lot of fast food, and all of a sudden they feel that disgusting feeling of being sick and unhealthy,
Well, yeah.
and then they decide that they're like, I'm going to change this.
I'll give you a perfect
And
example.
then they're going to go and start eating vegetables.
I'll mention the perfect example. When I was, in my bodybuilding years and stuff like that, I had the typical bodybuilding diet, which is stupid for the lack of, of better understanding. But basically all you eat is, some tuna, some chicken, breast chicken, which is, unmentionable to me now, broccoli, brown rice, and that's basically all I ate besides the hundreds of tubs of protein powder that I used to have, and that stuff eventually will make you very, very sick. So after I said, I'm done with the competing, with the bodybuilding, and I'm done with all that stuff. Time to move on to something else. I felt super tired. I mean, I was literally drained. Obviously, if you watch our previous episode, you know what was happening with me, adrenal fatigue. And I decided to go 180 degrees out of phase with what I was doing. So I became a vegetarian. Not just a vegetarian, I became a vegan because I was not touching anything that was animal product, because I was up to my eyebrows of eating ground turkey and lean beef and all this stuff that it was, at the end it was like eating cardboard. It was just tasteless, but I did it all in the name of, having a great physique and feeling like crap every day for months at a time. So did I feel good when I turned into a vegetarian diet? Of course I did. Because at the very least, and although I was a vegetarian that was not really eating 100% organic, but just the shift that I made from one direction to the other made my body actually respond really, really well. But let me tell you this much, it only lasted for such a long period of time, and then something else happened, which I'll mention to you next. So I went from eating all this ground beef and all this turkey and all this chicken, all this stuff that I was hating, and I will eat basically just, cereals after that, or wholesome, whole grain cereals, and a lot of fruits, and a lot of vegetables, and I was feeling pretty damn well. And it was because I was literally, in a way, kind of detoxing my body from all the processed crap that I was having before. So what happened after the first 6 to 7 months is that those first 6, 7 months, I was feeling fantastic. But then what happened is that I hit like a wall, and I was not feeling good anymore. I was really, really tired again. And I noticed one thing that was very peculiar, that I was gaining strength. No, I'm sorry, that I was gaining weight at a very rapid pace, and I was losing my strength almost just as fast. So I was wondering, what is going on? Why am I gaining so much weight and I'm getting weaker? Because I knew what I was lifting on a weekly basis. I had, not only my mental records of things, but things that